Welcome, this is N6QW, Pete is the handle, and what you're seeing here is what I commonly refer to as my wooden box radio. This is a 20 meter QRP CW transceiver, and it puts out about 3 watts. We're listening to some on-the-air signals. I've worked several states and one foreign country, including Portugal, and you can see the QSL cards here. This particular radio is actually a repackage of a radio that was built several years ago, and when I happened upon a wooden box, it reminded me of a article I read some 50 years ago about an individual who built a radio in a wooden box and would take it on camping trips with him. And I was always struck by that particular article and said, boy, someday if I could find a wooden box, that'd be a lot of fun. This is actually a trans-receiver, which has a separate transmitter and separate receiver. The only common element between the two is a TR switch and a 5 megahertz VFO. The IF on the receiver is at 9 megahertz, and the VFO, of course, is at 5 megahertz. It's a very nice radio. I happened to find some years ago one of these National Velvet Verniers, and I couldn't think of a finer application than in this wooden box radio. As you see here, I have a frequency chart, so the dial is calibrated, and you can pretty closely set the frequency by the calibration chart here. There's some slots along the side here, and if you were to take this in the field, it'd be a great place to locate cables and wires and batteries, what have you. I have operated a battery off of a 12-volt gel cell, and right now it's operating off of an AC supply. And for a speaker, I pressed into service a plastic cup with an 8-ohm speaker. It's a very nice radio, and a little later in the video here, I'm going to take it apart so you can see the individual components. The frequency spread on this dial is about 100 kilohertz. I'll let you listen to it for here a second. Enough volume here to drive a speaker, of course, and with headphones you have to keep the volume down. And you can see we're getting on a higher in frequency end of the teletype and PSK. It's been a fun radio to build, and it's more a curiosity to say I saw something 50 years ago and decided to replicate it. Here you can see it up close. Here on the left side is the antenna and the power. There's the earphone jack and the key and the volume control, and of course the main tuning dial. I'm going to now stop this video temporarily and open up the radio so you can get a closer look to the insides. It's nice sounding. 3 major components to this transceiver, and what we're looking at right now is the radio receiver. This is the RF amplifier. It uses a Tough One DBM. This is the post mixer amplifier. In this case, it's a 2N5109. There's a 3 dB pad in here. This is a 9 megahertz crystal filter. The IF in this case is an MC1350P. And then we have a combination of the NE602, which is product detector and carrier oscillator. And then the preamplifier on the audio amplifier is an NE5534. And then this is an LM380N 8-pin version. And over here is a mute switch that employs a FET. Right now we're looking at the transmitter, pretty standard lineup. 9 MHz crystal oscillator, NE602 transmit mixer. We've got an MPSH10 RF amplifier, bandpass filter, 2N5109 driver, and a 2SC2075. And there's a low pass filter. This is a 5 megahertz VFO, which feeds both the receiver and the transmitter. Enjoyed building this transceiver, and it's worked really fine for me. This is N6QW. Thank you very much.